Hello, this is What's All About, and in this review we're looking at the one of the latest Christopher Wards, the new Trident. We've got both the Quartz version, the Trident C60 Pro 300 meters, and we've also got the automatic, the Trident Pro 600 meters. So we'll be looking at the 600 meters in obviously another review. So if you're interested in that one, have a look at our channel to find it. But in this review we're going to be looking at the Quartz version, the 300 meters. Obviously, according to the name, it is 300 meters rated, which is the same as the existing Trident. I actually have one here, same as the old automatic Trident. So in that regard, the case is actually exactly the same, as you can see. Case is exactly the same. Apart from it being very slightly thinner, because it's actually got a quartz movement in rather than the automatic movement. So plain and simple, basically the only difference with this new 300 meter quartz version and the existing Trident is pretty much just the movement in it. So this costs £300, which, you know, is quite expensive, but don't forget that you are getting an excellent watch, high rating of water resistance, and it's Swiss made, and it's just such a beautiful, really well made watch from a awesome company as well, because they offer 5-year guarantee warranty, which you don't get anywhere else. So we'll look into it a little bit. We'll look into it with a little bit more detail. So the case is a 42mm diameter case. It has a lug-to-lug length of 51.5 mil, with quite a thin depth actually, as you can see. It looks pretty thin. It's 11.75 mil thin to be precise. So if I put it on, I've got a 7.5 inch wrist. You'll see that it fits me reasonably well. Nice and thin as well. One thing is worth noting with the leather strap is it is a little bit stiff to begin with, so you'll notice that it's not quite hugging the wrist just enough. I can feel it. It's a little bit gripping on my bones on the wrist there a little bit. That's because it hasn't fully broken in. It's not bending around quite enough. But apart from that, it is very nice. It fits really well, and I really like how the Trident case is shaped with the lugs turning down like that. It really hugs the wrist well. Feels really good on the wrist as well. So take it off again. It's got a sapphire crystal. It's 3.1 mil thick, and as you tap it, you can really tell that it's really high quality. It's a nice deep thud. The bezel is a one-way bezel. Again, feels pretty good to turn, with an aluminium insert, which is the same as the old Trident, but different to the 600, because that's got a ceramic bezel. So nothing particularly new to report about the case, apart from a new case back with a good Trident, much deeper Trident inscription on the back, as you can see, comparing it to the old one, which is very lightly etched and not very impressive. This one is very nicely stamped, really deep, looks good. So that's nice to see. It's a screw-in case back, obviously, because of the 300 meters water resistance, and we also have a screw-in crown as well. Unscrew it like so, and pull it out to change the time. So there we go. Just push it back in. Okay, so in general, the case is really well made, as you'd expect, just like the old one. Really refined corners. It all feels very nicely machined. It's got a polished top and a polished bottom and brushed sides. I do like the crown guards as well, how shapely they are. There we go. and the crown itself is polished as well, with the Christopher Ward CW logo embossed on the end, which is very nice to see. So moving on to the dial then. Thinking about the loom, the loom has been updated apparently, so it's a Super Luminova, very strong. It's still not quite as good as, you know, maybe Seiko loom or anything like that, but you can definitely tell that it has been upgraded. So it is a perfectly good loom for the type of watch it is. So we have the classic Galosh wave pattern, which I really like. Really nicely executed, provides a great sense of depth. Let me just wipe the crystal, and it's absolutely spot on. There's no flaws whatsoever on the dial at all. It's really nicely done. Everything on it is really high quality. So we have all these applied hour markers, again absolutely perfect in the way they're made and applied. And then the hands as well, really nice hands. Some people aren't so fussed about the hands, but I really like the design, the big sword for the minute hand and the onion hour hand. And then of course the second hand with the trident counter weight is really good as well. Suits the theme of the watch really nicely. I personally also really like the date at 4. Many people don't particularly like it, but the frame around it is really high quality as well. Everything's really precise, really well made. So it is, you know, it's a dial it's been really well thought of and executed perfectly as well. So you do get the sense of a really high quality watch when you're wearing it and when you see it in your hand. So, you know, £300 really isn't that much when you think about the quality of watch that you are getting. So moving on to the strap. This is the leather strap version. The leather on this isn't quite as nice as the leather you'd get on one of their nicer watches, such as the Big Day Date perhaps, or the Jumping Hour, but it is still very nice leather. Christopher Ward have always used really good leather for their watches. This is the first leather strap I've had from them, which is actually quite stiff. It's probably because it is, you can see it's thicker at the top and then it goes slightly thinner. So I think it's just because it's a slightly thicker straps to usual, but once it breaks in, it will fit comfortably. Very soft underneath, and it smells great as well, and it just looks really good, really well made with the stitching. So in that regard, you know, it's a very good strap. This is actually the first Christopher Ward I've ever had with one of their standard buckles as well. Personally, I much prefer the deployment buckle. So if you can afford the extra £25 for the upgrade, then I would really recommend it. But as you can see, it's all polished and it has the Christopher Ward London logo etched in the end there. So if I just put it back on, the strap is 22mm in diameter. And one thing I have noticed actually is that I'm a 7.5-inch wrist, so I'm pretty average, and I've got it on the very tightest hold. So with this is like the standard strap you get with it. So if you have got a smaller wrist than I do, make sure you utilise the ability that you can order different length straps now. So make sure you give your wrist measure your wrist up and see which strap will fit you best. Because if you go for the standard one, it may be a little bit too big for you. So there you go. But that's good for Christopher Ward that they can offer this variety of sizes. So that's really good. Really caters to everybody. Okay, so let's talk about the movement briefly. It's a Ronda 515 quartz movement. There's not a whole lot to say about it really, apart from it has about a 5-year battery life. It's fairly accurate. It's just a Swiss-made quartz movement basically. I don't review quartz movements very often, so I don't really know what else to say about it. It has little features such as power saving mode if you pull the stem out and leave it out the battery will last twice as long if you're not using it. You can also see when the battery is about to go, because it steps every couple of seconds rather than every 1 second, and then you know that you need to replace the battery soon. But you know, you can't really. All quartz movements nowadays are fairly bulletproof, so it's very unlikely that you're going to damage it or anything like that. So, you know, it's a perfect watch really to keep ticking away, and a grab and go watch that will always be set and always be working. Okay, so let's get the macro lens on and we'll have a look at it in closer detail. So let's start off with this very impressive dial. So here's the logo printed on it. You see the wave pattern. And let's look at the hour markers. All very, very nicely done. And here's the hands. And the trident. Counterbalance. Move over to the date window now. That nice frame around the date window. And again, some more printing down here, very fine and precise, and the Swiss made at the bottom there. So just looking at the bezel now, have the aluminium insert with the loom dot at 12. All the printing on the insert is all nicely done as well. There's the edging of the bezel. Nicely machined. Okay, so moving on to the case now. Here's the side. Perfectly brushed. Very nice edging. You can see it's all really well machined. In fact, I think it's a little bit better than better machined than the original Trident. We say it's the same case, but I believe it may be manufactured by someone else. It's a polished finish at the top. There we go. Have a look at the crown now. It's the Chris Ford logo embossed on the end. The grip is nicely done as well, and there's the crown guards protruding out to about halfway up the crown. So just having a look at the case back. Here's the impressively stamped Trident icon. It's a really good case back actually. You don't see a case back this good at all on watches costing £300, so in this regard this is probably one of the best case backs on a watch this priced. I don't think I've seen one better than this, to be honest. And then we have a nice polished edge to the case back, so that's really deep. You can see there how deep it is, very impressive. And having a good case back like this is quite a nice little treat for the owner, because obviously not many people will actually know it's there, but it's nice to see for the owner when they take the watch off or put it on, they can see it and feel it. So just the looking at the leather, there we go, you can see that it's good quality leather, good solid stitching. Let's have a look at the bottom as well. Again, looks very nice and soft, which it is. Good stitching along the sides there, and there's the edge. Just look at the buckle now as well. So there's the Chris Ford logo, nicely etched in the polished buckle there. Buckle is all really well made, and can't really go wrong with it really. So there we go. So, where does the Pro 300 meter sit in the family of Tridents? Well, I think it's a brilliant introduction to the world of high quality Swiss made watches. With the rising prices of the standard Trident, you know, which is inevitable really, it's good to see that they brought out an affordable version like this, because you still get a really well made watch for £300, which, you know, a Swiss made watch, that is pretty unusual, especially when you get 5 years warranty. Christopher Ward's customer service is second to none as well. It's really special. It's excellent, and just the fact that you're supporting such a great brand as well. So I would highly recommend it. I think it's a really well made watch for the price, and you know, that's something that I really do believe in. I think Christopher Ward are doing really well, especially with this new Trident range. So that's my thoughts on it. So this was the Christopher Ward C60 Trident Pro 300 meters, bit of a mouthful, quartz version of course, and that's what it's all about.